Lesson 7.7, using the percent equation. Interest is an amount paid for the use of money. Principal is the amount you borrow or deposit. The annual interest rate is the percent of the principal you pay or earn per year. The percent equation is used to represent the statement A is P percent of B. The equation is A equals P percent times B, which is part of the base equals the percent times the base. Let's talk about how to use that to find part of a base. In example 1, in a survey of 1,500 people, 82.6% said that they have at least one pet. Find the number of people who said they have at least one pet. They surveyed 1,500 people. That is your base, because that's the number of people that they surveyed, where the people that said one pet, well, that was your part of the base, which is your A. Obviously, where the percent sign is, that is your percent. Now, when you use the percent equation, we're trying to find A, so we need to take P percent. Now, we don't put it over 100 this time. We're going to actually change it into a decimal. So we multiply the percent times the base, change the percent to a decimal, and now multiply together. So out of the 1,500 people, 1,239 had at least one pet. For number 1 and 2, use the percent equation. Here's the word of. Remember, after the word of is your base, and of means multiplications. This is how you know to set up that you're trying to find A, because P percent times the base. Pause the video, try 1 and 2. For number 1, change it to a decimal, move 2 places to the left, multiply by 950. 228 is part of the base. Again, here's the word of, which of means multiplication, after of is your base. And this is your percent. Move 2 places to the left, multiply by 500, 352 is your answer. For example 2, you want to find the base. You receive a score of 152 points, or 95% on your math test. How many points is the test worth? If you think about it, there is 152 questions you got right. What you don't know is how many you didn't get right. This equals your percentage of 95%. That means we want to find the base. So A equals 152, P percent is 95%. Rewrite the percent to a decimal. And now, how do you get rid of a number that's being multiplied to the variable? You do the opposite, or the inverse operation of dividing. 152 divided by 0.95 is 160. The test is worth 160 points. You can always check it by taking 152 divided by 160 and then multiply by 100 to get your percent of 95. This is how you would find a grade on your test, by the way, or any grade. For number 3 and 4, please solve the problem. Remember to use the fact that the word of, after the word of, is your base. And now the other number should fall into place, because this is your percent. Is equal. A is 5.46. Pause the video and try 3 and 4. change the percent to a decimal. And then I want to divide by the decimal. .56 is the base. Here's the word is, here's the word of. After of is your base. You have your percent that you don't know, and A is 32. Set up number 4. 32 equals, you don't know percent, times 250. This time I want to divide by 250. Now you have to be careful here, because when you divide 32 divided by 250, you end up with 0.128. That's not a percent yet. You need to move the decimal 2 places to the right, or multiply by 100. Again, moving 2 places to the right is the same as multiplying by 100. 12.8%. Always make sure if you're trying to find percent that you do that. You move the decimal. To find simple interest, which is I, that is an I, find the product, so we are multiplying the principal, P, and the annual interest rate, R, written as a decimal, because interest rate is a percentage, so we have to write it as a decimal, and the time, which is T, in years. Use this formula. I equals P times R times T. Let's try an example. You borrow $2,500 and pay a simple interest rate of 3.5% per year. How much interest will you pay after 30 months? When we go to the bank and we take out any type of account, whether it's a loan in this case, or whether it's a credit card or sometimes even your savings accounts or your checking accounts, they all have interest, okay? Sometimes checking accounts do, not all the time. Sometimes interest is good for you, sometimes interest is not good for you. Let me just put some examples down of good interest. Okay, when it helps you to have an interest rate. Well, when you have a savings account. Okay, any type of savings account. And that could be a CD, a money market account, stocks. These are all interest. So savings accounts, what they do is whatever you deposit into your savings account, you are earning money on that account. And that's awesome, because if you don't do anything with your money, you're actually making more money by just leaving it in the bank. Some things where it's bad interest, and it's not necessarily bad, but what happens is I'm going to put in quotation marks, it's hurting you. Why interest hurts you? Obviously, if you take out a loan, you take out so much and then you get interest on it. So when you don't pay off your loans, you get charged more money. Credit cards. Credit cards are where interest is not good, because if you don't pay off your credit card balance at the end of a month, then you're going to charge interest. So maybe if you bought a bike for $100, well, if you don't, and you put it on a credit card, if you don't pay it off by the end of the month, now you might owe an additional $6 on it, okay, because they're charging you interest on that. So loans, credit cards, anything you're borrowing, student loans, anything that you borrow is when you have interest that is going against you. So in this case, let's solve this problem. You have the principal, which is how much you borrowed. And the rate, we're going to change it to a decimal. I know it's already a decimal, but we need to move it 2 places to the left, add a 0, so 0.035. And time. Now, be careful about time. If you go back to the definition of time, it's in years, okay? So T has to be in years. Well, 30 months is not years. What you can do to make it pretty easy for yourself is just think about taking the 30 months divided by how many months are in a year. 12. If you take 30 divided by 12, it is 2.5. That's how they got that 2.5, okay? Or 2.5 years. 2.5 years is 30 months. Again, think of T as years. If you do get the months, you have to divide it by 12. Okay, again, you can think of it as months is divided by 12 because there's 12 months in a year. Multiply this all together. That means that you have $218.75 of interest after 30 months. So instead of actually owing $2,500, you owe more than that. What, $2,718.75.